God, I hate getting old.
Welcome to WatchMojo, and today we're looking at the best and worst superhero films distributed by 20th Century Fox, or 20th Century Studios as it's now known. Sorry, but we have to leave out Deadpool and Wolverine since that's where Fox ends and Disney begins.
Disney brought him back. They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
Number 5 worst, Elektra. Somehow Elektra returned, and somehow she's even less exciting.
Don't worry. That's not that bad.
Yeah. How do you know?
I died once.
We don't blame Jennifer Garner, who'd finally get to do the character justice 19 years later. Fox, meanwhile, never seemed to get what Elektra is all about.
Remember me?
Although she's built up as a badass who can handle herself, Daredevil downgraded her to a love interest for Matt Murdock to avenge. Even Elektra's spin-off erased most of the character's darker elements, turning her into a more maternal figure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I hated that.
Aside from failing to understand the titular character, the film is draped in silly imagery. This includes cheesy CGI animals emerging from people's bodies and rooms that inexplicably become windy whenever a poorly choreographed fight scene happens. Are you posing for a superhero movie or a Neutrogena commercial? Number 5 best, X2, X-Men United. Coming out on the heels of its game-changing predecessor, X2 established that superhero movies are here to stay with a sequel that improved upon virtually everything. From the thrilling opening scene where Nightcrawler storms the White House, it's established that nowhere is safe. This extends to Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, requiring our heroes to go on the run and form alliances with some old enemies. The film further demonstrated to mainstream audiences that superheroes could not only exist in a more grounded world, but also mirror real-life struggles like coming out to one's parents.
Ollie. Have you tried not being a mutant?
Unlike some X-Men films that followed, X2 is an ensemble piece that gives almost every major character a time to shine, earning the United in its title.
The next move is yours. We'll be watching.
Number 4 worst, Dark Phoenix. After botching the Dark Phoenix saga once,
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Simon Kinberg got a second shot to screw it up again. Adding to the disappointment, this was a farewell for several cast members. The writing was on the wall as Fox merged with Disney, meaning these characters would soon be in new hands.
Because we're taking bigger and bigger risks. And for what? Please, tell me it's not your ego.
Watching Dark Phoenix, you sense that everyone involved figured this ship was sinking. Why bother trying to stay afloat? Even aboard the Titanic, though, the band played on until the end. As an adaptation of an iconic comic storyline and a send-off for this generation of X-Men, the action lacks scale, the story lacks closure, and the whole production lacks heart. Rather than rise like a phoenix, it blows by like a pile of ashes.
But nobody cares anymore.
Number 4 best, X-Men First Class.
Perfection.
Its big screen journey started strong, but by 2011, X-Men desperately needed an overhaul. Although this prequel would be set in the same continuity, First Class at times plays like a soft reboot.
Let's just say I'm Frankenstein's monster.
Despite maintaining some of the more grounded elements, director Matthew Vaughn leans heavier into the bright colors, quippy humor, and eccentric personalities the comics are known for. This balance signified a new era of X-Men and superhero movies in general. While the characters are no longer ashamed to be seen in yellow spandex, the film doesn't lose sight of its deeper themes.
I didn't know I still had that. There's so much more to you than you know. Not just pain and anger. It's good, too. I felt it.
This might be the best cinematic portrayal of Charles Xavier and Eric Lensher's dynamic, seeing a friendship turn to rivalry as their worldviews force them to choose sides. Number 3 worst, Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. We bet you forgot this was a Fox release. Unfortunately, Turbo has plagued our memories since 1997.
Maybe we are trying too hard. Maybe we're not trying hard enough.
This was the point where many 90s kids asked, am I getting too old for Power Rangers? The answer is no, you're never too old. The franchise just hit an all-time low point. Some might point to little Justin as a shark jumping point.
Guys, I'm the new Blue Ranger. Isn't that cool or what?
We guess this character was supposed to bring in a younger demographic, although Power Rangers has always catered to kids. While Justin did not help, he's far from Turbo's only problem. With even worse effects than the last movie and villains who look like they belong at a birthday party, it's clear why the Rangers didn't revisit the silver screen for almost 2 decades.
Great. Then what?
Then nothing will be safe.
Number 3 best, X-Men Days of Future Past. Bridging 2 generations of X-Men cast members, Days of Future Past was a benchmark for the Fox era.
Logan, you're going to have to do for me what I once did for you. Lead me, guide me. I was a very different man then. You'll have to be patient with me.
Patience is my strongest suit.
That's not to say this is the franchise's absolute best movie, but it arguably comes the closest to epitomizing what X-Men is. Although Wolverine gets top billing, Days of Future Past is truly about the ensemble.
Charles, we need you to hope again.
Every mutant plays an essential role in a story with world-ending stakes and the theme of prejudice again at the core. Yet it doesn't skimp on the fun, with Evan Peters' Quicksilver partaking in one of the franchise's most inventive and visually arresting sequences. The film looks to the past in more ways than one, correcting some of the series' missteps and cleverly tying everything together in a satisfying package.
Everything that happens now is in your hands.
Number 2 worst, X-Men Origins Wolverine. X-Men Origins fails in so many ways that it's almost fascinating. Given the title, you'd think this film would dig deep into Wolverine's psyche, allowing Hugh Jackman to explore new dimensions. The movie fast-forwards through key moments in Wolverine's life, though, never taking the time to flesh out his relationships.
Kue Kuatsu. Means the Wolverine.
On that note, for a story that's supposed to focus on Wolverine, the filmmakers shoehorn in more side characters than they know what to do with. At best, the characters are underdeveloped. At worst, the film betrays everything that a beloved character stood for. You know the one we're talking about.
Wait, is that you? Your striker finally figured out how to shut you up.
Throw in laughable effects and predictable plot twists, and this is the X-Men movie that Fox wanted us to forget. Of course, Deadpool would remind us.
I swear I'm gonna pay for it.
Number 2 best, Deadpool. Speaking of which, it's funny to think that the X-Men film Fox was the most apprehensive to make wound up being the franchise's highest grossing entry at the time. With a smaller budget, Deadpool had fewer cooks in the kitchen, giving Ryan Reynolds and company the freedom to get the character just right. Deadpool might not have been the first R-rated superhero movie or the first meta one.
Let us go talk to the professor.
McAvoy or Stewart? These timelines are so confusing.
Unlike a few of its predecessors, though, Deadpool managed to be edgy without trying too hard and self-aware without veering into straight-up satire.
Zip it, Thanos. We have a deal.
Although it takes a village to make any movie, it's safe to say Deadpool would not have worked without Reynolds, who was born to play this character in sequels and beyond, most likely until he's 90. Number 1 worst, Fantastic Four.
No, Vic. It's clobbering time.
Once upon a time, Tim Story's Fantastic Four movies were considered the worst of the worst, and Josh Trank was a promising young director, having made the superhero thriller Chronicle. Nowadays, those other Fantastic Four films feel like warm memories, and Trank has struggled to shake the 2015 movie's reputation. Trank can't carry all the blame, as Fox ordered reshoots without his involvement.
Wait, stop. Okay, let me explain.
Why?
I'm no good to you, to anyone. This is all my fault.
That we can agree on.
Whether or not Trank's vision would have been better, the disjointed end product defines everything wrong with modern movie making. Fantastic Four is devoid of joy, passion, and virtually anything that made comic book fans fall in love with these characters. Fox forever has an important place in superhero movie history, but when it came to this team, they always dropped the ball.
It's fantastic.
Say that again?
It's fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1 Best, Logan. Suffice it to say, Fox's superhero track record was a mixed bag. For all the blunders, Fox was more open to experimentation than some other studios, paving the way for Logan.
1. I have a lawyer now. 2. 3.
All right, boss.
Re-teaming Hugh Jackman and director James Mangold, Logan is equal parts superhero movie and Western, which blend more naturally than you might assume. After all, before superheroes, cowboys were once all the rage. Logan leaves playtime in the past though, plunging us into a bleak future. Amidst all the doom and gloom, there's still hope to be unearthed in an emotional story about parenthood and redemption. It was considered a risk when Fox first cast Jackman as Wolverine. It's only fitting that his Fox tenure would end with another risk that paid off spectacularly.
Don't be what they made you.
What's your favorite Fox superhero movie? Which do you think bombed the hardest? Let us know in the comments.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.